is happening, PGA DFS fans? Welcome to the top 5 sleepers for the Olympics. I get kind of excited saying that. I'm not going to lie. It's not often we get to say that we cover the Olympics, but here for PGA DFS, we get to say that. And we're playing for a boatload of money this week. And certainly some of these sleepers can help you win that top GPP prize, $200,000 on DraftKings this week. So let's jump right in, check out and see how I did last week. And well, a bit of a mixed bag, but anytime I can put the winner on this sleeper video, well, that is a win in my book. Now, I know that Kevin Tway missed the cut on the number. I know that Richie Wierenski was just a bad play. Dylan Fratelli, well, he had a terrible Friday. He looked awful. Matthew Wolff did what he normally does, put up some points, had a bad Sunday, not a bad finish, but Cameron Champ, part of the video last week and took down the win. You gotta love it when that happens. So let's go ahead and jump right into this week's. And now with only 60 golfers in the field, maybe you can throw 10 of them out right away. So really maybe only 50 golfers-ish in the field. It's gonna be hard to find golfers under 10% owned that you wanna roster. So bear with me a bit here, as especially the last two golfers, well, they're two of the lowest owns up top. But given that they're only a couple percentage points away from other golfers that I like, I'll go into that a little bit more. First, though, let's start all the way at the bottom of the board. Rory Sabatini, he's coming in at $6,800. The Slovakian, or South African turned Slovakian, I should say, is here competing in the Olympics, and he's actually priced at $6,800, right in the mix of some chalky golfers, namely Henrik Norlander, Ryan Fox, and a couple of other guys priced above him, Anraban Lahiri as well, who's priced below him, getting a lot of looks. So Sabatini right now, he's only projected at 4% owned. Last 4 weeks, well, he hasn't played the last two, getting over to Japan here a little early. Prior to that, though, 2 missed cuts. So coming in, not great form for Rory Sabatini, probably why his ownership is low, but you gotta love 4% owned in this type of contest. If you look at his strokes gained ranks this year, well, he's about average on off the tee, ranked 125th, below average on the approach, 148, below average around the green, 135, but above averaging putting, 78. So for me, what we're looking for here is, listen, we're just looking for the 4% owned guy to get into the top 15 and beat all the golfers around him that I've already mentioned. So gotta take your spots. I think with Sabatini, this is a good bet. Next guy I want to talk about, similar situation to Sabatini, but priced a little higher, near, say, somebody like Mito Pereira, who's going to be, say, 20% owned, near Jonathan Vegas, who's going to be the highest owned golfer in the slate. I'm going to talk about CT Pan. Similar type of form, however, to Rory Sabatini, missing the cut in 2 of the last 4 weeks, didn't play the other 2, so the form isn't great. But if there's anybody that has a larger incentive than CT Pan, at least monetarily, I'll say, it's nobody. CT Pan is, of course, from Chinese Taipei, and they reward their athletes that do medal at the Olympics. So interestingly enough, but in addition to that, he's only 5% owned, the lowest owned in and around that range. And again, for Pan, who's ranked 144th off the tee this year, 59 on the approach, and 82 around the green, along with 100th strokes gained putting, I like those stats. I like that it's a no-cut event. I like that it shouldn't be that hard off the tee, which is where he struggles the most. We should have plenty of good quality iron chances. So at 5% owned at 7,100, it's easy to get leverage on him this week. Again, we're looking for a top 15 or 10 and to beat the guys around him. Okay, the third guy I want to talk about, Sebastian Munoz, as we move up the board a bit. He's coming in at 9% owned, a little bit lower owned than a guy like I already mentioned, Jonathan Vegas. In fact, he's going to come in about third of the ownership of Vegas. And for Munoz, it's been maybe a little tale of two cities with his recent form. A couple of mixed cuts, but also a couple of top 5s, including 3 weeks ago at the John Deere Classic, where he came in 4th. So for Munoz, I love the upside that he possesses. Plus, it's a no cut. We don't have to worry about him missing. And when he gets through, he always puts up points. Let's see why he puts up points. Strokes gained ranks. Looks like he's just about above average in everything except for around the green. He's 75th off the tee, 93rd on the approach this year, 156 around the green, and 108 putting. Speaking of good putters and a golfer playing very well right now, maybe a little different than the first 3 we mentioned, it's Mackenzie Hughes. He's coming in at $8,000, and certainly in a field where we've got Justin Thomas, Andrew Schauffele, Colin Morikawa, and more. you would expect the $8,000 to be pretty expensive for Mackenzie Hughes. Maybe that's why he's only projected at 12% owned this week. Listen, I love it. 6th in the Open, 14th a couple weeks before that, was involved at the U.S. Open. The guy's just playing good golf right now. The fact that he's only $8,000, I think he provides some really good upside, especially when he gets that putter rolling. He's ranked 28th this year, but I think that doesn't tell the whole story. He's putted much better than that, especially when he's gotten going. He does struggle off the tee and on his approaches, ranked 182 off the tee and 176 on the approach, 88 around the green to match his top 30 in strokes gained putting. So for Hughes, you need a course that's going to be pretty easy off the tee. Looks like it should be that this week. And he needs to get those irons going. Okay, now the only golfer, or one of the 2 golfers that are projected under 10% owned this week, above 8,000, is Christian Bezuidenhout and this guy, Patrick Reed. Now, Patrick Reed was one of the last persons to be added to the field. And at 10,100, I can understand why his ownership is going to be under 10%, given that Justin Thomas, Andrew Schauffele, Colin Morikawa, Rory McIlroy, and Hideki Matsuyama are all priced above him and around him. Gamers will easily click those other names first, but Patrick Reed does present some upside, given the fact that he is under 10% owned. So going 15 or 20%, well, you're going to get some leverage there, and we are going to need some leverage this week with only 60 golfers in the field. Recent form hasn't been good. It's probably why at 10,100, he's not that highly owned. 35th last week, then a 32nd a couple of weeks before that, but the missed cut at the Open kind of shows you where his game is right now. In terms of strokes gained, ranked how Patrick Reed gets it done, we know he's one of the best putters on tour. Ranked 9th this year. We know he's great around the green, ranked 14th. His other parts of his game, well, better than average, 85th off the tee, and 41st on the approach certainly is a little bit better than what he's been doing recently. He'll need to find that ball striking this week, though, if he wants to compete with the big guys here at the Olympics. So, okay, let's go ahead and go 5-1 again quickly. Rory Sabatini, CT Pan, Sebastian Munoz, Mackenzie Hughes, and Patrick Reed. Listen, I think we need to keep an eye on ownership here. Say if somebody like Justin Thomas continues to trend down, his opening was at 14%. I would much rather have Justin Thomas at, say, 14 or 15% than Patrick Reed at 10 to 12%. Only a couple of percent separating those 2 golfers. I would choose Justin Thomas, but right now it looks like Patrick Reed could even be trending lower. That's why he's part of this sleeper video here. So, okay, make sure you guys stay tuned for my top 5 fades. Listen, just because I give you sleepers and I gave you the values, well, we need to fade some of these guys as well to win the big prize. So stay tuned for that. And of course, be sure to check out our live show that we had, the PGA DFS Strategy Show. I guess it would be live now, but you can watch it on playback. Also, go to your favorite podcast provider. You can catch it there. Ben and I, we break down the entire board, plus make a couple of lineups there as well. And if you missed that, check out the Live Before Lock show with Ben Raz and Eric Lundquist on Wednesday. So until then, everybody, this is the top 5 sleepers for the Olympics. See you on the other side. Cheers.